Welcome back, everybody. It is good to have you back. I am Sam Leonard. I am your GM for today. We're going to start off with some players, so if everybody could please introduce themselves and their character, I would appreciate it.
I am Sutter. I'm playing Athena, the druid apothecary shopkeeper.
I'm introduced, I'm Horgold Wolfswift, and I'm a rogue that can find information where it needs.
I'm George Mallory, and I am playing Alfonso, a young sorcerer who has had a complicated past.
I am Hollock Hall, playing Hollock Hall, a human fighter.
All right, and we have two players currently not here. Hopefully they will be able to join us at some point in the near future. But I would like, well, go ahead, and if anybody doesn't have inspiration, does anybody not have inspiration yet?
Yeah, but I don't want to do the recap.
You don't want to do the recap? Well, anybody can do the recap for inspiration, if they don't already have it. Otherwise, I can.
What does inspiration do?
It allows you to gain advantage on any roll. And you can only have 1 point.
So one roll today, we get like a bonus.
Right. So inspiration allows you at any point say I'm going to spend my inspiration and get the roll as an advantage. Or remove if you're rolling at disadvantage, remove disadvantage from the roll. Because advantage and disadvantage just cancel each other out.
Right. So 2 episodes ago, we invaded a house under reasonable suspicion that it was owned by a traitor. After a very long fight involving a lot of guns, it was revealed that he is in fact a traitor. We arrested him, took him to basically the courthouse, interrogated him, and then were led here, his farm. Here we fought 2 trolls, and now we have to step through a teleportation portal to go somewhere, and we don't know where that place is.
That seems accurate. So the the wizard that is with Natasha, looking very smug with himself at reopening this teleportation circle, starts getting a worried expression on his face. Doesn't say anything yet, though.
Okay, guys, party members, if we do come out on an enemy base, the biggest, most important thing to do is to look like you belong. Also, don't talk, because I don't know what their accents are. I don't know what belongs sound-wise. So if you, like Athena, if you could pretend to be a noblewoman, it's pretty easy. All you have to do is look a little slightly disgusted at people. And Hollick, I would recommend just not talking at all, because you're a big burly guard, and the less you talk, the more nervous people get, and the more they will talk to you.
I hate to interrupt, but somebody used a fairy ring to set this thing up. He's pointing at the ground. We don't have much time before that. So, somebody needs to make a decision.
I vote we go through, and if we do come out at the enemy base, I think, what we should try to do is get Horgold to get his bird in the sky and see if we can map where we are, and then get back as fast as possible.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah, I'm just basically walking towards the portal. I'm just saying, I think we've managed winging stuff until now.
Well, I'm going.
All right, you guys all step through the portal. It is you've never teleported before. It is a discontinuity. It is, evening here, or where you are currently. You step through, and it is probably 10 degrees cooler than where you were before. It's still evening, about the same time of day as far as you can tell. The air does not have your regular smell of salt that is flying through the air, or because you live on the ocean. You don't smell the salt of the ocean. You are surrounded by people, and I don't mean like you are. Everybody's looking at you. I mean there's just a crowd everywhere. And you guys hear a high-pitched, sustained whistle off to your right. And you look over, and there is... Well, you're standing on a platform. There is a person standing at the edge of this teleportation circle that you landed in, looking at you, kind of, and then just kind of marks a note in his book. You... there's kind of a fence keeping people away from the teleportation circle. There is a crowd not far from you. Just probably 30 feet to 40 feet beyond you is a set of stairs up to a platform. There is a person standing on the platform saying something. It's a little confusing. It's kind of hard to hear. And behind it is a giant vehicle of some sort. You see it has got wheels that are probably one wheel is 6 feet high, and then a series of smaller wheels in front of it, all connected by a metal bar of some sort. On the front of this is a large tank or tube with a small cabin at the back. Down at the front, near the front set of wheels, there's a giant metal box that you can see condensation condensing upon, and like dry ice type smoke slowly filtering down out of it. And a cheer goes up from the crowd, and you guys are all here.
Is this the portal the troll came through?
No. Any sign of brass and green uniforms?
Yes. There are several just kind of interspersed throughout the crowd. 2 or 3. They're all like watching the proceedings going on in the stage.
Are people murmuring? Can we understand what language they're speaking?
They are speaking the same language you are. Conversations are directed away from you, but you kind of get... The general tenor is kind of a happy, joyful, interested... it's not... It's like, yay! All that sort of thing going on. The sun is setting behind the mountains behind you. You can just kind of see in the far distance that the sun is like setting behind mountains.
And the only way off this platform is up to the other platform?
Nope, there's a set of stairs just past the man who's got like a notebook in his hand, and a lockbox beside him. All of you, after a few moments of blinking, would have seen a place similar in Kersh. This would be a teleportation circle. Like you pay and step on the platform. You tell them where do you want to go. You pay to step on the platform, and you are teleported to another place.
Does this platform have wheels on it?
This platform does not have wheels on it. It is firmly cemented into the ground. And the guy kind of looks over at you, and you guys have been on here for a few minutes. Like, please clear the platform in case other people would like to come or to arrive.
Just slowly, kind of bewilderingly move my way off the platform.
I follow.
Yeah, me too.
I shrug, walk forward, hop off.
As you guys clear the platform, a couple of minutes later, another, obviously some sort of noble person, heads up the stairs to the platform, has a little conversation with the person at the edge, pays him some coins, steps on the teleportation circle, and vanishes.
Horgold, I think it might be up to you to find out. You might be the most sneaky of us to find out where we are. Ask people, I guess.
Yeah, we could send a bird in the sky to look at the city or where we are to get a general idea how big it is. Maybe scout for a pub or something. That's mostly the type of places we get information.
Can we see any landmarks that are familiar or famous or something like that?
Not from this location. You guys are not, you're not world travelers. Give me, is there a knowledge history in 5th edition? If there's a knowledge history roll, that might get you something. Otherwise, yeah, your bird can go ahead and, oh yeah, there is knowledge history. That's a really good roll.
Is there like a roll to figure out where we are based on that the sun set over mountains in the west?
Oh wait,
Like
sorry,
a common
wrong.
sense roll?
My brain is flipped that. The sun is not setting behind the mountains because that's to the south. Yeah, that's the wrong side. I always do this. Sorry. The sun is setting off the distance to the east. The mountains are barely visible in the peak of the sunlight to the west. Or yeah, east. Sorry. Sun is setting to the west. The mountains are to the east, and I am horrible at directions. I am sorry.
I'm just going to look up someone that looks sort of official, like someone that works at the teleportation circle, and just asking, "Excuse me, I'm a bit off put by the teleportation. Could you tell me where I've landed?"
He kind of gives you a confused look, like this is not a normal thing, but it's like, yeah, you're in Convergence.
Oh, good. Thank you.
You're welcome. I did first time teleporting.
Yes.
Must have been something wrong with the circle at the other end. Tell me, which city did you come from? We may need to make some adjustments to their spells.
No, it's just that I've been sort of not well lately, and I think the teleportation just upset me somewhat.
Drastic change in elevation can sometimes do that. I suggest finding a place to sit down and or maybe a shop or fine dining establishments here in the city. We have some fine wines. He just kind of goes into a little sales pitch for Convergence.
Yeah. Could you please give me this directions to a decent inn?
Absolutely. He directs you. It's like, oh, you're a traveler. I would suggest the Color Animal Inn. He kind of gives you a sketchy set of directions. It's kind of down towards the merge where the two rivers merge. It's like, yeah, just follow, just walk north until you find a river, then turn left and follow the river until you come. You'll see it. It's the only one that has a buolet, an outline of a buolet on it. You'll understand the inn when you find it.
Thank you very much. And I just woozily kind of just turn around and start almost shuffling my way towards the group.
Yeah, let's go to the inn, I guess.
There is another ear piercing, I guess you would call it, whistle from the... Well, you've seen now there's flyers for the lightning train. grand opening event, and you see a group of well-to-do, probably, people starting to board from the platform onto one of the passenger cars of this train.
What direction is the train going?
Train is facing generally northwest-ish.
That's convenient. It's the way we're planning to go.
Yeah. It looks like the rails for this train have been like they've knocked down buildings. It's all well constructed, but they've cleared at least 3 or 4 widths of how wide these tracks are on either side of this rail line. And it's almost straight. It's just kind of heading in a northwest direction with a slight curve to it. And if you stand nearish the tracks, you can see there is a large stone bridge over the river to the north.
Is it only noblemen getting on?
I wouldn't say it's noblemen. People that are well-to-do, definitely. They're wearing expensive clothing. You're not sure if they're noble or they're just wealthy merchants or anything like that. Bring up.
Hey guys, are any of you wearing expensive clothing? Because I'm not, because I just went to a farm and fought some trolls. So just checking. Just checking. Do any of you have fancy clothes?
Not me.
So if you look at the stream, I have the map pulled up, which I really should try to get into Roll20. Or maybe I have it in Roll20. I might have this map in. Hey, I do have this map in Roll20. Make it bigger.
This is going to be a hard sell.
There. So you guys are currently in the city of Convergence, which is there. There's a river to the north from the mountains and a river to the south of the mountains. They converge basically on the point.
I'm still seeing the farm. Are we on the wrong?
Yeah, I forgot to move you. Sorry about that. There you go. There you go. Yep. So you guys are fairly familiar enough with the world to know where this is. You are at Convergence is at the base of the foothills of the mountains to your east.
Orca said that Anya was based in Convergence.
And about how far is Convergence from Kersh?
I would say it's probably 2 or 3 weeks by foot. A few hundred miles, maybe 1,000. I really need to define some of these things, but yeah, it's a few hundred miles by foot.
What about a riverboat and then going along the coast?
It's probably just about the same amount of time, but it's a lot more comfortable of a trip.
That town down the river that starts with a P, is that closer to Kersh? Or is Convergence the closest city to Kersh?
Piroshkazlo is, I mean, it's closer by river and a little bit by land, not a lot by land. Definitely closer by river, though. Convergence is the former capital of the country of... Bring it up. Country of... Gosan. Yep. Or no, that's Gosan. Feilun. And Gosan's capital was Piroshkazlo. These are both protectorates of the Kingdom of Kartuk.
And Kersh is in Kartuk.
Kersh is surrounded by Kartuk on all sides. They are an independent city.
So Luxembourg.
Yes, Luxembourg is accurate.
I was thinking Venice
Is Venice an independent city?
for 1,000 years, but not any longer.
Then yes, that would also be accurate.
Monaco.
Well, Venice had a swamp that kept it from being, brought into any other kingdom.
So
Can we see any signs at the railroads, like who constructed it or something like that?
no like construction signs, but definitely looks, all this construction looks new. You get those of you who are a little more magically inclined, probably especially Alfonso, can kind of get the sense that like the ground was leveled using magic. The general like buildings were torn down to make space for this. Convergence never had really high walls. It did at one time have walls, but they've just knocked a hole in the wall of the city to let the train line come through. There's no like gate there. It's just an open wall.
Athena's more interested in seeing if there's any sign to where this rail thing is heading.
Yep. So
Is it
the flyer that there's kind of scattered around about the opening lists stops in several towns' names. None of them are familiar, but the final stop is in the capital city of Kartuk. So this seems to be a rail line heading up, up to here. So it's heading along this way, kind of generally, kind of hugging the foothills. If you know geography, if you don't know geography, you don't recognize any of these towns, until it can break out into plains south of our Kartuk, and then it just kind of takes a straight shot there.
Are there any banner ads saying who built the train, who ordered the train, anything to do with the train that goes along the tracks, or is anywhere else, near the station?
There we go. Yeah, that's fairly accurate. Banner, not exactly. You're under the impression, at least partly, that this is a government. Like it's not like sponsored by this business. It's like, it's like I don't know how to put it. It's probably some sort of government work.
Yeah, but I mean, no construction companies, no politicians.
Oh, the politicians
really
are up on
weird.
the politicians are up on the stage talking about it. The construction companies, I mean, it's not like it's listed in the flyers at all.
I'll just start moving again towards the pub.
Okay.
Is the method by which the train travels mentioned? As in, welcome to your city's brand new steam train.
It's the lightning train.
Ominous.
And as you guys head towards the river and then follow the river down towards the kind of following it towards the southwest, you see that there are, it looks like the city walls for Convergence are currently being, if not actively torn down, at least people are stealing construction materials from them. Like you can see that people have removed blocks and bricks from anywhere that look like they could have gotten them from. It's not really ratty. You don't think it's going to collapse, but it definitely seems like the walls are no longer being maintained.
So someone is very confident that they are not about to get invaded Or actually, will we even need to worry about being invaded ever again?
That's yes.
I just comment while we're working. This is nothing like Kersh. The state of these walls. Oh,
Are there any obvious town guard milling around?
Yes, so it appears, and if you guys get a little too close to the tracks, there are people that kind of come up to you and say, you know, it's dangerous. When the train moves through, it's very rapid. We don't want anybody getting run over. Please move away from the tracks. But yeah, they're definitely like guards. They look like guards, milling about, kind of making sure the crowd doesn't get out of hand. Keeping an eye on people, sort of thing. You've also seen probably 10 or 15 of the brass and green wearing people, just kind of milling about. Most of them were in the crowd at the opening ceremony.
Are they the city guard, or is the city guard someone else?
City guard is someone else. They're mostly identifiable. They have a very convergence is so they have a red. They are wearing chainmail. They have like a spear and a shield, or a short spear and a shield, and they have a red doublet, I think it is called, the thing you wear over armor, over their armor, and they're all wearing basically consistent colors, consistent clothes.
More consistent than Kersh, right?
More consistent than Kersh, yes.
Are the brass guys moving somewhere, or are they just partying here with the crowd?
They're just kind of partying there on the grounds. They're not like moving in any sort of coordinated way.
Is there a cafe or something we could stay to watch these guys in case they wander off, and then we could try to follow them?
Yeah, you've seen several cafes along here. They all have, like, you know, their best stuff out.
What are the prices like? Are they more or less than they would be in Kersh?
It seems to be more expensive than you are used to in Kersh, but you kind of get the impression that, you know, like on a chalkboard, they have erased the prices recently, and a special today, only 3 copper for a coffee, and so it's like it's seeming a little more expensive, but you're not sure if they aren't just trying to cash in on the big event that's happening at the railhead here.
Yes, we will have to get farther away. Is there any sort of standardized food item?
I mean, you see like steamed bun on pretty much every menu. There's coffee, which is not exactly rare, but definitely higher end. There's also wine and mead and various alcoholic type drinks at most of these cafes.
No specialty foods, just the lowest base common food items. So this would be like steamed buns. What do those cost? More or less.
Those are, again, while you're near the platform, they're more expensive than you're used to, but as you leave, it's probably a little bit cheaper than you're used to. Like, as you're getting closer to the Color Animal Inn, prices are generally a little below, but not exceedingly below what you would expect for a similar food item in Kersh.
Okay, I'm using the Big Mac theory of economics, where you take something that's been standardized, a Big Mac, and you see how much it costs everywhere around the world to see how strong the currency is.
Your character wouldn't know anything about that.
No, he wouldn't, but he would know. You know,
It seems a little cheaper for your
what's the
characters.
price of food.
Right. Food seems a little cheaper here. You guys get to, there is just this picture of a sign. It's a white sign with a bullet stenciled on it, and the center of the bullet is just wood, just bare wood.
What does it taste like?
What taste like?
The wood, does it taste different?
You're gonna go up and lick the sign?
Yeah, I think I'll go lick the sign.
Okay, you go up and lick the sign. It tastes like wood. You're not sure if it's pine or other like conifer. Maybe you're not 100% sure. And the the people are kind of giving you around you are kind of giving you a strange, like, okay, and kind
Okay,
of moving.
I'll go
along.
ahead and shrug and be on my way.
All right. You guys gonna head inside or?
Athena is.
Okay.
Yeah.
You guys
Yes.
head inside. This place is touristy.
Before I head inside,
Yes.
I look around at the crowds. I look at what they're wearing and how worn it is.
The crowds are. You can kind of see from here. You can kind of see down towards the river docks. There's a gate that's sitting open further along. The people around here are wearing, I guess you call it normal clothing. They're not high dressed. They're it's worker stuff, and they're well maintained, worn, not new.
I don't need to know the specifics. I just need to know them in comparison to Kersh.
Kersh kind of has a wide gamut. This would be, I guess you would classify it in your own head as working class, probably.
But is it happy working class?
You have no idea. All right, so as you guys enter the thing, the place looks, I guess you would call it touristy. You might have actually seen a color animal in Kersh, depending on how far and wide you've traveled around the city. The biggest thing, as you guys are seated at a table, the barmaid hands you, each of you has a like a plate thing, brain fart. Thing you put your plate on. Anyway, that has a different mythical well, not mythical, but magical beast on it. Like set in front of Numa is a griffin. Set in front of Horgold is a bulette, and just each of them has its own thing. There is a set of colored charcoals on the table in the center of it, and against or on one wall there is a wall that's been whitewashed and has like different animals in it. The outlines of different animals in it. Placemat, thank you. And after she gets done seeing your table, she's like, can I get you something to drink? Can I get you something to eat? What would you gentlemen and lady like for this evening?
A beer would be nice.
All right.
What does the house recommend?
The house recommends we have a lovely roast on right now. And it comes with potatoes and carrots. And a beer, absolutely. We have very fine beer here.
Yes,
The roast
yes,
sounds good.
I will have that then, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Is something with cheese, like a sandwich?
Yes, absolutely. We have cheese. We have a platter and with cheese and crackers, if that would be what you like. I would suggest pairing that with wine instead of beer. We have some
Sounds-
lovely fine wines from the foothills to our right east.
I'll take a cheese platter on the strongest ale you have.
Very well, madam. And she takes your food and drink orders and bustles herself off to back off to the kitchen. The place is quiet. There is some sort of ambient music playing, but you're not exactly sure where it's coming from. You don't see a bard or anything. The place is not very busy, but definitely has a few other patrons in it.
Are any of the green and brass
What's that?
in the establishment?
Sorry, I didn't hear the question.
Are any of the green and brass people in the establishment?
No, you haven't seen any of them in here.
Do you guys know how to get rid of beer without actually drinking it? Or drink it without getting drunk?
Give it to me.
We once used poison, the anti-poison after we got drunk.
I will look through my familiar's eye that I sent up in the city,
Okay.
and I want to look for the green and brass armors, soldiers, if they have like a place where they meet.
All right. So you're doing that. While you're doing that, the gal returns back with your food and drink. She has trained. It only takes her a couple minutes to bring you everything. The food is fine but not exceptional. The beer is tasty but not extravagant. The wine, if any of you had it, is very good indeed. And she kind of bumps you, Horgold, and she looks at you confused, but then she sets, if they like flinch a little bit to get your hands off the table, she sets the food in front of you, which you can't perceive. You're familiar watching the crowd at the lightning train. After you guys took a while to walk down here, your familiar sees about the time that you start perceiving them, the tail end of the train just leaving the last platform, and the thing starts making a chug sound as it starts speeding up, heading down the tracks. As it starts speeding up, the mist coming out of the boxes at the front end of those metal pieces starts lessening and lessening, and just at the edge of perception, you can just start to see that glowing a little bit with heat as it's heading off. As the crowd kind of clears, the group of brass and green people kind of all meet up together, and then they head off to the kind of south end of the city. As a bird, you don't have any real problem following them.
I can communicate with it for 100 feet, but if it's bigger than 100 feet, I will tell my bird to follow and report back when she's in range again.
Yeah, it's definitely more than 100 feet. This is at this point across the city from you. The rail station's kind of in the center of the city. The Color Animal Inn is off on the edge. So the bird, you gave them expression, or you gave it before instructions, but to follow it before you left. So it's going to continue to do so until it can't, or it gets new instructions. Do you have something to think about setting up in the future? Is some way to signal it from much further distance?
It's trying to complete the task.
Yep.
It won't go into danger.
Okay.
Then it will also return. But it's trying to complete the task, and it's like find a inn where they are staying, or a building where the majority of the group goes to, or something like that. That's the task. And then report back, of course.
All right. So you're following him for a while. We'll go ahead and rotate back around to the rest of the group. So by now, the rest of you are getting to know when Horgold is no longer perceiving locally. So you're pretty sure that's what's going on. What else are you doing?
I am having a lovely time pretending to be drunk.
Eating and drinking, of course.
Athena's having a lovely time eating cheese and platter and getting tipsy off of strong ale.
Yeah, eating, and maybe asking the waitress about a place to stay and what the price.
She's like, "Oh, absolutely. We have many rooms that you may stay in. We have 3 floors. Would you look like a group? Would you be liking to have individual rooms, or perhaps the lady has, is married or with one of you fine gentlemen and would like to share a room, or perhaps 2 of you gentlemen are together and would like to share a room? It's really not my. Anyway, yes, we have rooms.
Okay. There are some free.
Yes, there are rooms that are available.
Okay, cool. We'll let you know after dinner if we need some.
All right, very good.
Yes, because we need Horgold back.
No, Horgold has returned.
Okay, Horgold. Which one of us is going out tonight?
I don't know. I will be on the street probably later on, just at night to find some information that my bird might be returned with.
If you're going to be out all night, Athena, would it be okay with you if we, quote unquote, put him in the room with you? That way they won't check if he's actually in the room.
I won't be out all night.
I don't think they care. As long as they get money for the room he's using or not using, they don't care.
Yeah, or we could do it that way. I'm told that I'm extremely paranoid.
Dinner is filling and moderately well made. At the end of the thing, she kind of comes up to you and says, "It's 2 bronze per meal and a copper, or 2 bronze per meal and a copper per drink. And will you be staying with us this evening?"
Rocking back and forth, I mutter under my breath in a slightly slurred voice, the cost of things would have been really nice before we actually ate them.
She kind of smiles at you. There, sir.
Out of character, being drunk is so much fun. You get away with so much stuff that you don't otherwise.
How much are the rooms?
The rooms are a brass a night per room.
I'll have boredom. I'll take a room for myself.
Alfonso, you want to share a room?
Sure, I can sleep under the bed.
All
Hey, that's something he would do.
right. You guys arrange for your rooms. Go ahead and pay for your meal and drinks out of your personal wealth. And she hands you each of you who are asking for a room. She hands you a key and direction to where it is up. It's like, okay, so you guys are all in second floor along the back edge. There's 2 rooms on this side, 1 room on this side, or however many rooms you guys end up getting. And I hope you have a pleasant stay.
How does brass convert into the lower currencies?
1 brass is
10 copper is 1 bronze, 10 bronze is 1 brass, 100 brass is 1 iron.
Yep. So yes, steps of 10 until you get to the iron.
So what do we owe?
So
1 brass, 2 bronze, 5 copper.
Yep. If you got yourself a meal and a drink in a room.
So the room is 1 brass. We're sharing it. That means 1/2 brass each. And then the meal is...
So if you're splitting it evenly, it would be 5 bronze for the room, and then 2 bronze for the meal. When you guys get up to examine the rooms, each room has a fairly well maintained double bed with probably goose feather pillows. It has each room has a window in it that peers out over the local landscape. Your eyes are all on the second floor. The window has glass panes and curtains. It's clean. There's not a lot to it. There's a nightstand with a dish on it. You're pretty sure that down the hallway is a shared washroom, restroom.
I message Horgold. Do you have rope?
I think I do.
I think you should.
Yeah, I do.
Right. Evening settles over the city. After probably 2 hours, your raven starts tapping at the window pane. You sensed it arriving back within range of sensing it here just a couple minutes ago. It looks relatively tired.
Sorry. As soon as we get to the room, I was planning on starting to sketch a map of what we've seen of convergence so far, just for myself.
Yep, absolutely. Go ahead. You feel free to do that. You think it's fairly accurate? You think it's fairly accurate? You get the major gist of the city at least. It's not like, and 50 meters down this way. But yes, you have sketched yourself a map of the parts of the city you have been in.
So because I didn't look to the bird's eyes, it can only send an image and maybe a direction, and that's it, I guess.
So you get the image of a townhouse and direction of, let's see where you're at in the city. East southeast. And the part of the image is several people with the brass and green entering the building.
Define townhouse.
Single story, 1 entrance with a yard around it, peaked roof. Yeah.
Big?
Moderately, probably bigger than a single family or similar residence.
Because I live in a townhouse, and if you put that many guards in it, it'd be like a clown car.
Well, you haven't seen the image, so you don't know.
Yeah, that's why I asked to find townhouse.
Horgold has seen both the image from this raven and Orcaz's place, so he can compare them, right?
Yes.
And maybe they have a cellar.
Can images be can you transfer images using the message cantrip?
No, you
No.
can't transfer images. If you had the minor illusion cantrip, or I forget what it's called, you could make a picture of it.
I don't have anything.
Silent image, I think it is. Yeah, I don't think you have anything that would count for that.
No.
Silent image is a level 1 spell, and minor illusion is a cantrip.
So I would say minor illusion to make something that's kind of fuzzy, and silent image would get you something accurate.
Minor illusion to make something that looks like it's supposed to be like a chair or something.
If somebody has a quill and some paper, I can draw it, or try to draw it.
I don't have, and I'm probably in a different group.
You've seen Morkosh drawing a map.
On that note, would one of you be able to forge that warrant that we got in episode? Was it 3?
Yeah, I'm going to be unwilling to do anything like that, Alfonso.
Just wondering. Just because it's an idea doesn't mean it's a good idea.
Would the train count as a land vehicle?
Yes, it's driving on rails on the land.
Good to know.
Okay, I don't know why that's important, but now I'm scared.
Because the train might be hovering.
Yes,
No,
no, it was
without
definitely
wheels.
connected to wheels, connected to the ground.
So it's not riding on the ether.
No, it's not riding on the ether.
We're trying to figure out why it's called the lightning train.
Because it's powered by lightning magic.
I go knock on Horgold's door.
Yeah, it's open. Come in.
Yeah, we need to find out where they are.
Yep. I got some information off my birdie, and
Oh, good.
I think they are southeast from here in a townhouse.
Okay. Any idea how far?
No, not really. Well, I could calculate that a little bit about flying speeds and stuff like that, but
Why don't we just take a walk, see what we find?
yeah, we could do that. I was planning on going at night.
It's night now. Early. The sun has set. It is early evening.
Yeah, then we can go.
Yeah. I'll join you.
Yeah, I'll join you. Because because Horgold, if you're breaking in, you're going to need a distraction, probably. I mean, it can't hurt.
Well, there's strength in numbers.
I need to know what I'm working with.
As you guys head out of the inn, there's kind of a festive feel to the air. The street lamps, the magical street lamps, are being lit one by one as it gets dark enough. The town is, I guess the thing you have noticed at this point is the town smells so much better than what you're used to. You guys have become nose deaf to Kersh because you've lived in it for your entire life, but it's like man, the air just isn't as thick as it was at home. But in general, it's a cool, crisp night. The kind of a celebratory. You get every once in a while a group of people go by there and chatting in happy tones, and just kind of an air of festivity is permeating the town.
Is Athena on the walk with us?
Oh yeah.
Yep, I'm assuming you're all going unless somebody tells me that they're not.
Yeah, I invited everybody. Let me say that.
Okay, you're every once in a while your Horgold, your bird will leap off your shoulder and fly around a bit. You unless you see through its eyes, you lose track of it in the darkness of the night. But then it will land again on your shoulder and kind of like point you in a direction to go. It's
sweet.
It's leading you as the crow flies. So you go down many a alleyway and side street, and
As the raven flies.
as the raven flies.
I still need to name it, guys. You need to come up with a name. In character, by the way, I say that.
Well, it's your bird. You should name it.
But you're more acquainted with animals.
I might give it a thought. See what pops up.
It's your bird. You have to live with the name.
Probably after a half hour to an hour of walking, you guys kind of come to the walls towards the south edge of town, and the bird kind of pokes you to go through the gate. Bird kind of pokes you to go through the gate and out into the night. The street lamps end at the edge of the walls, or at the walls. But there's definitely more town out here, although it looks a little more rural, less built up.
You know, I'm used to Kersh and the divisions in the town with walls. Is there something similar here in Convergence?
No, as far as you can tell, it is surrounded by a single city wall. There isn't internal divisions in the city. The other impression you're getting is that it is much less populous than Kersh is. Probably half or less of population.
Anyone who looks like me? Half orc?
Oh, absolutely. You've probably seen more half orcs in town in Convergence than you saw in Kersh. You might know up the road a bit. Not up the river, unfortunately, for Convergence, but up the road a bit. You go this way, and then you go this way. Yep. And that is the Highland Narrows Pass, which leads out into the Orcish or Shepherd's Steppe. This lighter area is Steppe Lands and the home of the orc tribes.
I think if it's darker here, I want to go into stealth. I'm not sure if my birdie can find me. I think
Your
can
bird,
because we have a.
you have a bond, so your bird always knows where you're at. Well, doesn't always know where you're. If it is with 100 feet of you, it knows exactly where you are at.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can go ahead and go in stealth. Give me a stealth roll with disadvantage, and I'll let you use it for everybody. Or if you want to just hide yourself, give me just a standard stealth roll.
He can just hide himself. I have an idea. Well, maybe.
So that's a 10.
Is that 10? All right. So you guys kind of well, unless any of you decide against it, you guys all kind of get to where you're a little less noticeable in the street.
How does that work?
He's like, okay, so you go here, and
Look out for that street light there. Stay in the dark area.
mostly it's
Which
him
is like-
mostly it's him going like this to you guys as you're walking.
Which is much, easier than just telling people how to act a particular way.
You guys get down a little bit, and your bird takes off of your shoulder, and you get the impression that it wants you to look through its eyes.
I'll stand still and, well, look to his eye.
It pops up just a little bit, and you can tell that like just a couple houses over from here is what it saw before, and then it settles back on and lands on your shoulder.
Anybody outside?
Yes, there were a couple people out front, watching the street. Would be the kindest way to put what they're doing.
Any nearby houses?
There's generally all of the buildings around here have yards, so there are houses nearby. There are yards separating each building. Sometimes there's walls between the sets of houses, and sometimes there is not. Like short walls, like garden walls.
Athena, are there any animals nearby?
I wouldn't necessarily know that, but I want to know what kind of animal looks like there could be some of hairs, like squirrels.
Your squirrels seems like a reasonable assumption.
Yeah.
Or bunnies.
Rats.
Rats, probably. You're near enough a city. Rats. You probably can hear some bird song, or heard while there was still light out bird song. It's probably died down at this point.
Yeah, I don't fly, so
It's not my fault
Yet.
you don't fly.
Okay, guys, what is the mission objective right now? What are we trying to do?
trying to scope out the house to see if how many that are here, see if there's any logical way that they could gather a lot of people fast or something like that. Try to figure out if there's a money trail on this side of the teleport.
Another way to put it, what's our win condition? Are we trying to get into the house, or are we just looking and that's all we'll ever be doing? Or do we eventually want in?
Eventually, I'm guessing we might want in, but not. I'm not. I don't think we don't want to get in tonight unless we get spotted and they get an opportunity to run away with evidence.
Because I can. Alphonse is best for creating the organized chaos you would need to get in. He can't actually do the breaching itself, but he can get things weird enough outside that the guards would temporarily leave their posts.
Well, I want to see what's inside that house, but there are more ways than one to do that. We don't actually need to enter. Well, maybe Athena needs to.
Morkosh, you still have that warrant I gave you? I need a...
Talk about. We're kind of outside the
The one
jurisdiction of Kersh.
I don't need it to actually cover the jurisdiction. I need it to look right. I need a worn piece of paper that will unfold correctly.
I think we should
check
take
to see
more
what they
precautions
can find.
before we make ourselves known to them.
Yeah, we should be. They don't know that we are here, and I want to keep it that way as long as possible.
I'm not going to knock on their house either. I'm going to knock on the house one door over and, then unfurl the paper and then say, like, we have a warrant for such and such, and the time you get to get into the house is the time it takes for them to come to the door, because I will not. Alfonso is not going to pass muster as an actual like tax collector or anything. Especially in a town he doesn't know.
Yeah, I want to keep it a little bit more covert at this point. So I think Athena and my bird are the best options. And
Yeah. Are there windows to the back we could use to spy in with Bird or Athena?
I can use a distraction just to get you two in. The big limit is they will be more paranoid the next time we come around, and I can't use the same distraction twice in the same place.
yeah, I sent my bird out to scout the actual surroundings of the house. Now I can see them myself
Okay.
to see indeed where the gardens are of the house, and if there is a way where there are no people, then we can get closer to it without being noticed.
There is a front door and a side door. Both of them appear to be have one or two people hanging around outside of them, probably watching into the darkness. I'm gonna sneeze. Hold on. Or my nose hates me, and I'm not gonna sneeze. There is a kind of a back towards the house. There is a couple of windows with light spilling out into the darkness from the interior of the house. There is also one window that looks like it's probably shuttered, so that the light is, instead of just flooding out into the night, there's just some streaks of light coming out. Then and towards the front of the house, there's probably one or two side rooms that the windows are dark in, and there's probably one room in the main front part of the house that has another window that's lit.
Can you get a small animal up to one of those windows, Miss Athena?
I just look at Alfonso, start morphing into a rat, and scurry on along the grass and backyards towards the house.
Alfonso rolls his eyes and hits his face with his hand.
As a last parting thing, it just squeak.
Okay, so how long after I send a message can the person respond?
I think they get basically one line sent, one line received. I'm not 100% sure, though. Let me look up the spell quick. No.
It's in chat.
Thank you. Targeting only. Here's a message and reply with. Okay, so yeah, it's basically you send a message and they get to respond to that message, and that's it. So it's like a single sentence or two message sent and a single sentence or two message received.
Since we're out of combat, can I just keep set?
Yes.
Using this cantrip on Athena to.
As long as you have line of sight to Athena, yes, you can. You can continue a normal conversation, although only you and her can hear it.
And all you're getting back are squeak.
2 squeaks for trouble.
Well,
2 squeaks for trouble.
Well, all I would be saying is what she's saying, and if she's just saying squeak, and Alfonso is standing there looking at the ground, muttering, squeak, 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 squeak,
Hey,
squeak.
Alfonso,
squeak.
how covert is that spell? Can you start talking to the guards in front of the house without them knowing who or where you are?
They
I'm
would.
pretty
They would.
sure they know.
They would be able to. So they would know that they are being messaged if they're at all familiar with the spell. They would know that they're being messaged by a message spell. So it wouldn't be like have crazy talk in my head. So, but they wouldn't necessarily know exactly where the message is coming from. Although it would be in Alfonso's voice, so unless he's a very good actor, which he's probably not a bad actor, and he would sound like himself.
So this is actually surprising. I thought that they would immediately know, like in Charm Person, they immediately know that they've been charmed. But with Message, they don't. So that means they only know if they know what the message is. The message spell is.
They would know two things. They would know if they're familiar at all with the message spell that this was the message spell. And two, they would hear your voice even if you're not actually physically speaking.
Yeah, but that changes things from absolutely not to a very risky.
All right, so Birdie and Athena. Athena, we'll start with you. Where specifically are you going?
I'm going to try and do a quick lap around the building to see if there's any openings on the ground floor I can take advantage of.
You don't see anything.
If I'm gonna do this.
Just a minute, George. You don't see any obvious openings, like the windows are all closed. There's no like drain pipes or anything like that. Your rat brain's kind of going, well, I could just chew through the wall right there, but that's kind of all you're getting a sense of.
It'll take a long time.
It would take days probably. George, what was your question?
If I'm gonna do this message thing, which might work, I want to know the guard's name. Also, does the message come out as like a voice that I'm thinking or what I'm actually muttering? Because if it's what I'm actually saying, I can change the timbre a lot.
It's a voice that you're thinking, so it's silent or
so it
very
would always
quiet.
sound like Alphonse.
Well, it's whispered. It's a whisper, so it is. You could change the timbre of it if you really. You would be voice acting. You could voice act your way to sound like something different. It wouldn't be specifically you. But remember, it's a whispered conversation, so Bird is trying to keep track of Athena. Okay, so the bird is watching you, Athena.
Also, how long do we plan to be here? Because the whole whispering in people's ears only works if I have like an hour or two to drive them crazy, very, very slowly and patiently.
You're pretty sure it wouldn't actually drive them crazy. It would get them to respond for sure.
Hey, Sama.
Yeah. Okay,
And
so
then
that would get I could see it getting annoying after a while. Okay, fair point.
Then I would wait like half an hour before doing it again, and then just wait another 45 minutes until it's like they just freak out.
All right, Athena, you have completed your round of the house. What's next? Who has a next move?
Are there any places on the second floor I could climb to get to?
It's a single story. There's no like second floor.
Yeah, but there's a loft.
Fair. There's probably a vent in the peak of the roof. In the front of the. See, on this roof, it would be the actual peak would be towards the street, so it'd be towards the side of the building. So yes, there would be a loft vent, I guess you would say, in the side of the building.
Are you sure this isn't like a ranch house?
Ranch house would probably be a way to put it as well.
I'm going to. How many guards are outside?
You've seen 2 to 3. It's not real stable. Somebody will head out for a while and hang out, and then somebody else will go inside. You've not seen there haven't been more than 3 different people, but it's kind of a 2 to 3 from time to time.
Okay.
How many people are inside?
I don't know yet.
You don't know yet. You haven't looked in the windows yet.
I mean, roughly, are we talking 6 or 36?
You don't know yet. You haven't looked in the windows yet.
I want to at least climb up to a window to see inside. On the same side, there's a vent, so I can decide if I want to keep going afterwards.
All right, you're a rat. They can climb straight walls fairly easily. Give me a stealth roll with advantage, please. I'm assuming you don't want to be seen by the window as you look into it.
Yeah.
Or the guards. Well, depends. You may not be on the side with the guards, but stealth roll. Yeah, give me a stealth roll. That's the wrong thing. That's better.
That's the one.
So you got an 18.
Actually, a 19 because the rat has +0 on his deck.
Ah, okay. You peek your head up over the thing and lock eyes with a person that's in the room, and then you're like, oh, and duck below the level of the window again.
That can also work if you have 2 or 3 hours.
Give me a perception check. How much did you gather of this person? Not much. You locked eyes with the person in the room, and then you ducked.
Yeah. Did it look like he noticed me? Like,
have you ever just in a crowd you lock eyes with somebody and you know for a fact that they have seen you? That sort of thing.
Okay, so
they just locked eyes with a rat. Just
a rat that just poked his head up in the window and just nope.
Just nope. Well, I guess you don't have to just nope, but that's up to you. I'm assuming since you're being stealthy that you would nope, but
yeah, first instinct is, oh, dang, someone's looking this way, duck.
Okay.
Well, it's a rat in a city at night, so you're not completely screwed yet.
No. But
what's the biggest thing you can turn into?
No.
Elk?
Just no.
Oh,
I need to
elk
disable
would
that
be
while the
very
game is
good.
going on.
Elk would be a beautiful distraction if we ever decide to go in there.
All right, so what? I think I need to stick with Athena for a minute. What is your?
I am actually contemplating trying to reach the vent, but I don't think so. Did I get anything about the number of people inside, or was it to just no?
Well, you know there's at least one person in the room.
Does that room has a other window, like it's in a corner of a building?
Yeah, that's something I would know.
Side of the yes, it would actually. You would have a window to the front and a window to the side.
I will go to the other window and I will stick my beak on the window and try to be Well, I don't want to be seen, but I want to make the tick sound.
Okay, that would be the window that would be moderately near the front of the thing, so I'm going to need your bird to give me a stealth check to avoid getting seen by the people sitting out in the front of the house.
That's gonna suck. Let me see. Bird, where are you? Where is the bird? Hawk. Oh, +3. It's not that bad.
Okay. Okay. So your bird comes
Hey,
in. Your bird comes into land, and you like tap tap, and then the person kind of off for the what in the heck, and looks over and sees your raven, and he starts walking over to you, and the other person heads inside.
There's another door. There's another guard out here, right?
There are 2 guards at the front, and there's 1 guard. Well, there's now only 1 guard at the front. Now there's 1 guard at the side door.
I messaged the guard at the side door with "Oi."
And you get back.
Nothing else.
What? Okay. So
Birdie will fly back if he opens the window or something like that.
well, the guy out front is the one walking over to you. So the bird flies away.
Yeah, if he's in reach, I am just trying to be an animal, a wild animal. So if you are in reach of the bird, then it wants to fly.
Flitter. Gotcha. Okay. Give me a minute. I'm picturing in my head how this is working. All right. So Alfonso and Horgold's body, Hollick, Morkosh, you guys are all out of view of the main house, or out of easy view of the main house, off to one side. Athena is at one window down on the ground, yes?
Yeah.
Okay, and Horgold's bird is at the other window to that room, down on the ground, fluttering away from the person. All right. I would like everybody to give me a perception check. Horgold, it would be your bird's perception since you're still viewing through that. I want to know mostly when you notice something, because you guys can all kind of see into this room a little bit at least, except for Athena, unless you poke your head back up.
I don't think I'll poke my head back up.
You can hear the bird fluttering away from somebody walking out around the front of the house. Horgold, I can't help you there. So your bird's too busy being not caught. George and Hollick. Okay, so George with the 16, you would notice first, probably like you catch a glance of red hair, imperious face, slow, like working her way towards the front of the house. Very familiar face.
Oh, heck no.
And you have time to let your friends know what's going on if you want to.
I do. Can
I
I do it?
do.
Can I do it? Messages?
Can you what?
Can I do it through messages?
You have enough time for 1 message, maybe 2.
If Alfonso says anything like out loud, I'll go ahead and tap Horgal on the shoulder.
You could just whisper it, and without using the magic, you could just whisper it and just have your friends hear it, with the exception of Athena.
Guys, Diane's here.
I don't
cast
hear it.
message. I cast message and then tell Athena, Diane's here. Time to get out.
Squeak, squeak.
All right. Holocall, you notice her as she's about halfway through the room. She's definitely approaching the front door at this point.
For future reference, is it possible to just do the spell and then whisper loudly enough that everyone around me can hear it and the recipient can hear it?
Nope.
Yes.
Don't think so.
I don't think so. I think that's kind of the point of the spell, is so that people around you don't hear it.
Well, I mean, normally, yes, but
I would say yes. If you specifically say it that way, then I would let somebody standing right next to you hear it. They would not be able to hear the response.
I just climb
no,
back on the
it
wall
would
and-
just be a whisper to me.
Right. All right. So what was that, Athena?
I climb back down the wall and just scurry like a bit zigzag, like a bit rat-like, stopping and sniffing and keep going, trying to seem like a normal rat while I'm getting out of there.
Give me a animal handling. I guess is not the right term. Give me a rat impression roll. Which is handle animal. Is that
Animal handling is just that.
animal handling? There you go. Do that one.
I mean, animal handling may not be the right role, but how else are you going to figure out what her rat suspension is?
You don't look very. You're like, you try this, and you're like, well, that doesn't seem very convincing. That doesn't look like any rat I've ever seen. And then you're like, nope.
Do I notice that he is fleeing?
Yes. Yes, everybody has
Athena,
noticed it.
you might want to run away from
Morkosh or Holic said they were going to tap you on the shoulder when Alfonso whispered.
Yeah.
Yeah, wasn't that the
Can I
thing
carry
last
him?
time?
No, the rat's about the size of the raven.
Yeah, that's too heavy.
All right.
Then I'll just keep track of him still.
Okay.
As a rat, you can get lost in the city, though, and we can't. We're humans. We're conspicuous.
Did you guys leave, or are you still in hiding at the front of the house? This is the question I have right at the moment, because the front door is opening.
Leave to where?
I don't know. That's why I'm asking.
I'm sticking around as long as Horgold is, because he's obviously still using the senses of his familiar.
Yeah, I'm going to stick to Horgold, too, because he's the one who's good at sneaking around at night.
All right. Yeah.
I say in the party that Athena is in danger. I don't know why.
Oh, Athena saw danger, you said?
No,
Sorry.
Athena is fleeing, and I don't know why.
Right. All right. I would like everybody who's standing at the front of the house to give me a hide check, please.
Stealth, you mean?
Stealth. Yes, thank you. Huh? Okay, thank you, Morkosh. So, as Athena leaves the front of the house, she just looks directly at each one of you and says, "You can go ahead and leave the shadows now into the night." Not Athena. Anya, brain fart. She doesn't seem to be paying attention to you, Athena. So, yay?
I'm a rat?
I'm a rat.
Yay.
She's definitely looking at the group, though.
I'll tap
Yeah,
Horgold.
let's move. will.
I suggest we don't run.
Yeah, just move silently, and I try.
No, I mean, I
One via-
suggest that we just stand up. We don't run. We don't do anything. If she wanted us dead, we'd be dead.
Yeah. So,
It's
but
time
she
for
suggested.
dialogue.
Yeah, no dialogue. Just move away slowly. Walk. And I will cast the message to Athena that we meet up at the gate.
You can't
Squeak.
see you can't see Athena at this point, so you
I
wouldn't
don't
be.
have to see. I need to know the general direction.
Oh, I thought you had to point your finger at somebody you can see.
No.
Oh, okay.
It's a general direction. The spell can bend through open spots and stuff like that if it doesn't have to.
Okay, then yes, you get the message to Athena. I need to look up something.
Squeak, squeak. You get back.
There we go.
Was that 2 squeaks I'm in danger, or was that confirmation? I forgot.
Forgot
So
something
Anya-
that wasn't prepared.
Anya has already told my character specifically that I can stop hiding in the shadows.
She definitely caught eyes with each of you. She definitely perceived that you were there, and yes, she basically said, "You guys can leave the shadows now," or something along those lines.
I'm sorry, she caught eyes with Horgold as well?
Oh,
It's peppermint.
thank you. You are under the impression that yes, she saw Horgold as well.
Then I'm just going to stand here and wait.
I'm out of. I'm not communicating with my beast anymore.
Okay, so you were standing in the group. You have Anya looking at you from across the way.
Yeah, we just moved away slowly, and I whispered message to him that we are moving back and meet us at the gate.
I am standing looking directly at her.
And I guess the rest of us are backing up.
George, you feel the rest of your friends slowly moving away from you.
Yeah, as a backup plan, how far away is that gate?
The gate's probably quarter to a half a mile from here.
No, the gate to the yard.
Oh, the gate to
think,
the
is what
yard.
we're talking about.
It's down the street, maybe a block away.
Any cover within 20 feet?
Buildings to either side of you.
That works.
All right. She is currently casting a spell. As she sees you guys starting to move away. Alfonso, you're in front. Horgold, you're kind of in the back. Which one would she target?
I'm just standing straight looking at her.
You're standing straight looking at her. Okay. Then I would like a. I think it's charisma save.
Shoulders square, head held high.
Okay,
Looking
so
her
that
in the
works. I would like a wisdom saving throw from from Horgold and from probably Hollick. You have to beat. What is she casting this? Gotta look up a thing.
You have to roll a natural 20 to succeed.
No, probably not a natural 20. that one. She would be using that. It's a. So it is. What's the spell DC? It's spell level plus
8 plus proficiency modifier plus spell casting modifier.
Okay, so it's 3 plus 8 is 11 plus. It would be a 16, I think. Or no, actually, I think it would be a 15 to. Yeah, we're gonna go with. We're gonna go with 15. 15. So Horgold, you succeed. Holocaul, you are locked in place, unable to move. She starts walking forward, and she's like, "I really would just like to talk." Those of you with magical senses, pretty sure this was hold person.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that.
No, you don't.
No, you don't.
Can I still speak, or am I totally frozen?
You are unable to move anything, including your mouth. Paralyzed. Okay.
I message Hollick. Don't worry, she's here to talk. If she wanted us to be dead, we'd be dead. Just relax.
Each of individual's turn.
So now 2 people are at a dead stop, and the rest of us are moving back.
Horgold succeeded by the skin of his teeth. Holocaul is unfortunately paralyzed.
And Alfonso is still just standing there.
Yes.
Very unthreateningly.
She stops.
Not being a.
She probably stops
Not
about
being a.
10 or 15 feet from you and just kind of quirks an eyebrow at you.
I'm not being threatening, but at the same time, I am not cowed either.
She kind of huffs a sigh out and says, it kind of shakes her head and starts walking back towards the house. Holocaul, you finally yourself able to move again.
Cool. So she doesn't want to kill us yet, or she doesn't know who we are.
I'm pretty sure that she knows who we are. I'm also very sure she doesn't want to kill us. Did she indicate whether she wants us to come inside or not?
Yes. She's definitely indicated at this point that she would like you to follow her.
Then I am following her.
All right. Athena, as from your hidey hole that you've kind of found, or do you head back to the gate?
That was the plan.
Yeah.
I got a message from Horgold saying, meet at the gate.
Feel free to notice that everybody else has stopped moving in that direction. Or don't. It's up to you.
I'm guessing. Have keen. No, I might not have seen them because I was moving away from them.
All right.
I don't hear them trying to meet up with me yet, but
Nope. So you'll get back to the gate, and it'll be very, very lonely feeling there. Alfonso's heading inside with Anya. Anybody else following along with him?
Not unless Holok or Horgold are going with him.
I'm in doubt.
Me too. I don't know what to do.
It's up to you guys. It really is.
I don't
Okay.
want to go in there.
What's that?
Okay, which of you do I talk to get you all to come back in? Because I can only message one of you.
I mean, you're already walking in that direction, so your preference is clear.
Yeah, I know, but the message itself is every coin has 3 sides.
Did she message? What did Anya say? Like all come in, or
She,
just want to have a chat with?
and it was definitely inviting you all in.
I'll message Athena. We're invited in. It's gonna end bad. And I'll walk in.
What's the maximum range on message?
120 feet.
That's probably close enough. Athena, you get that message. That they've been invited in. All right. So you guys are led into the front room. It looks like a living room. There is a low fire built into a fireplace in the back of the room. Looks like the fireplace actually opens up into multiple rooms, kind of central heating, I guess, for the house. It is fairly well appointed. A couple chairs, probably an end table or two. Just kind of a nice house, fairly open room. Off to the other side of this main room, there is a dining or sitting area. And then there's a door that leads towards the back of the house. That obviously the fireplace connects to whatever rooms are on that side of the house. Anya sits in one of the chairs and kind of appraises your group and gives you a kind of a smirk and says, not exactly what you were expecting, am I?
Are we invited to sit?
Yeah, she motions towards the chairs. There's enough for all of you. The guard that was in the front of the house, or was in the front of the house, is currently in this room. He bows his head about and kind of bows at the waist just a littlest bit, and then heads out the front door. Give me perception check, please, Horgold. Nope. Okay. She looks like she sits comfortably in her chair, and looks at you all, and I recognize, and she kind of looks around. I recognize you, and I recognize you and you. She points at Alfonso and Holok and Morkush. You were helping out in the city when with the ruined buildings, weren't you?
Out of character, don't forget that Athena was too.
Athena's not in the room.
Ah, well, that explains who has the worst memory.
All right. So why are you here?
Well, milady, we are here because you put a troll and a half into a farm using a teleport circle that led back to where that train took off, and then there were a bunch of guards flying your colors that led us back here. That's why
Okay.
we're here.
I'm not sure I believe you about the troll, but that makes sense. The question is, why were you at the farm in the first place?
Farm of Orca, the person you were laundering money through.
Ah, that explains much. So I take it you are Natasha's friends then.
No, Orca riders.
I
Not to be impertinent, my lady, but didn't you already know that?
I don't know everything, child. She kind of and gives you a look specifically, George, and then kind of shakes her head a little bit. But she kind of looks. I know. I did not know that. Although it is gratifying to hear you say it. She kind of gives Horgold a look. I don't suppose that I could convince you that my side of this whole troublesome time is better. Could I? I mean, what is she offering you anyway?
Milady, I have been waiting for about 2 weeks just to hear you try.
she laughs a little bit. I mean, you have seen you do live in Kersh, don't you? You have seen the state that she allows the town to remain in. You know, and she kind of points at Hollock and Morkosh. You know the city isn't just or fair. There are much better ways to run the city.
Alfonso's eyes right now are glazed over.
But I guess I believe that I or my friends or really rather anybody could do a better job of running the city than Natasha can. She has been running the city for longer than any of you have been alive. So what would it take to convince you? Money? I can get you money.
Wait, is that how dragons work?
I mean, that's often how the human races work. Often money will buy, money bought Orca, money bought others. Would you prefer something other than money? Fame? Power?
No, I'm sorry. I was confused. Sorry, I didn't know that much about dragons. I didn't realize that they live so long.
Oh, yes. I am an adult now, although my mother would argue that point, and I'm trying to remember actually out of character how old she is. She kind of looks. I'm hundreds of years old.
And Alfonso mutters, every dictator who has ever raised a coup to dethrone a dictator that they didn't like did not think they would become a dictator afterwards.
True. But I don't actually want to run the city myself. I am not the one who needs to be in charge of the city. I mean, I would probably run it for a while. It seems like a lot of fun, but it's also a dangerous position to be in, and I have other things I must attend to. But yes, any single person holding the power over the city would any single person would become a dictator in time, even if they had the best of intentions.
How truthful is she?
Give me an insight. Give me insight, please. That's pretty good. She's probably not telling you everything, but she seems to believe in general what she's saying.
Do I need an insight check to think that she is very honest about what she's saying as far as her mind goes, but that she's horribly wrong in practice?
I mean, you can give me the insight roll to see if Morkosh, you don't see it, or you haven't seen it rather. You can give me an insight roll, Alfonso. You believe she's not telling you everything, but she's generally being truthful in what she's saying. Whether or not it's horrible or not doesn't have much to do with the like how truthful people are believing they are.
What can you promise us if we change sides?
Well, you still haven't told me what she promised you, but protection at the very least. Because if you come to my side and succeed, you will be hunted. I can offer you protection. There's a very real chance that taking out Natasha will get Bowen after whomever does it. He doesn't like to admit it, but he loves her.
Yeah, and I think this needs to be a group decision. So
Milady,
might we sleep a night on it?
Milady, what would you change in Kersh?
What would I change in Kersh? I would get rid of the stupid monetary way, the way that those of wealth can gain and retain power over the others. I'm not going to implement I would not implement some sort of, I don't know, I guess you call it a democracy or what have you, but I would bring up to modern times more the systems that are more systems akin to what is here in town and other parts of this country.
Milady, do you realize how much of a bloodbath changing any of the aristocratic or social systems in Kersh would be?
If you try to change those sorts of things overnight, absolutely, you are correct. Give it 100 years, though, and you can slowly make small changes. Some of you would live long enough to see the outcome. Some of you would probably not. But the way the system is, it is stagnant. It is corrupt. It preys upon the weakest to feed the strongest.
The dictator is dead. Long live the dictator.
The king is dead. Long live the queen, perhaps?
No, the dictator's dead. Long live the dictator. Just like every dictator, every ruler of Kersh will be just like the previous one.
Perhaps not. But you won't know for sure whether the next dictator will be different unless you allow change to happen. Anyway, you would like to discuss it tonight. You have my leave. I will be here if you would like to come see me tomorrow. If you decide against me, I would not suggest remaining in town. She kind of nods at the door, and she kind of mutters something to herself when the door opens from the outside.
Look at that, a message spell.
She smiles at you.
I'll go ahead and start leaving.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, he's free.
Once we're outside, I'll message Athena again. Plan changed again. We're going back to the gate to meet up.
One final question for Anya. Why you?
Because I think I can.
I get up, bow, and then leave.
All right. You guys leave unaccostedly. I don't know when you're going to meet up with Athena, but you guys get back to the gate after a short walk.
Athena never left the gate after she got the message. Squeak? Question mark? Squeak? There's a rat just sitting there looking quizzically at you.
All right, as you guys approach the gate, you see a rat backlit against the city lights inside the gate. It's getting fairly late at this point, probably 11, 12 at night.
As soon as I recognize who they are and see that everyone's there, I change back into myself.
Oh, that was better than my plan.
Which was pick up the rat and hope that it was the right one.
No, just shoo it away, waiting for a friend.
All right. How you guys head back to the inn for the night, or do you have further plans?
Yeah, it's late at night, right? Let's sleep on it, and let's discuss this at breakfast or something.
Yeah.
What happened?
Oh yeah, we fill in Athena.
Okay. You guys fill in Athena on your walk back to the inn. You don't perceive anybody following you at all. You know, especially Alfonso, I'm assuming, are being very, very paranoid to see if you're being followed. Doesn't appear to be anybody following you for all you're looking. You guys get back to the inn, head up to your room. The lower part of the inn is fairly quiet. There is a looks like the barkeep from earlier is sleeping behind the bar. He kind of perks up a little bit when you walk through the door, but then lays his head back down as he recognizes you. And you guys head up to your rooms. We'll go ahead and pass through the night, unless you guys have some other things to do this eve.
Not other things, but I have some spell swapping.
Finally.
All right. Yeah.
Finally, I get a recharge.
Yep. You guys go ahead and take your normal full rest. The night passes, and breakfast in the morning as you guys are waking up. Those of you who are not super early risers, those of you who are super early risers, you get to see a couple of new barmaids kind of cleaning up the common room, and the barkeep is getting up, kind of waking the sleep out of his eyes and heading back into the back. Those of you who are not early risers wake up to the smell of cooking bacon and eggs.
I wake up to the smell.
Right. As you head down, the barkeep or the barmaid says, breakfast is on the house. Go ahead and have a seat wherever. And she, as you guys sit down, she supplies you with rashers of bacon and scrambled eggs and cups of very dark black coffee. And on the table is goat's cream and cheese and a rough like rye bread, toasted.
Coffee.
And other than feeding you breakfast, you're pretty much left alone. Looks like there were several other guests here overnight. They're probably also waking up to the smell of breakfast being served. They find their own tables. Given the number of rooms in this place, you'd think that the inn was less than half full.
I just start asking. Well, I got filled in with what happened, but I made a promise to Tasha. I don't feel right changing sides.
It kind of sounds like joining up with Anya or Diane would conflict with my oath to the town of Kersh as a guard.
Yeah.
Are you happy as a guard there?
Yes, I'm popular. I'm good at it. Yes, I'm happy.
Because look at this city, it has a freaking magic steam thingy, electric. I don't know. Never seen that before.
You guys, this place is cleaner than Kersh is. It is more. The streets are more well lit. You've never seen the lightning train before. You haven't seen the bad part of town, but the parts of town you have seen are. I don't want to say they're nicer than what you're used to, but they're definitely different than what you're used to.
I have to
To
rebuild all
Anya,
my context though.
to Anya, I say no. Because growing up in that slime pit of an economic mess, so many dictators would rise up one after the other. And once they got into power, they were no different than the people who came before them. They wouldn't change anything, even though they intended to, even though they said they would. And worse, the people would have to suffer every time one would take over. There would be a giant war. Well, many people would lose their lives, and then we wouldn't get anywhere because of it. She says that she says that she wants to do this because she thinks she can, but she only thinks she can.
She never talked about a war though.
There will be a war, at least between dragons and probably between cities. There will be.
She's talking about it, hundreds of years of time change. So I think she wants to get the core and then let the town change itself. With, of course, a little influence.
Even if we don't have a war, if there's enough social unrest is caused by, getting rid of the aristocracy inside Kersh, there's going to be purges. There's going to be cleanses of economic groups. There's going to be people will die
Yeah, the richest don't have all the money anymore. I find that an appealing thing.
Yes, and stability goes down, and even the poorest people can no longer afford to buy bread.
Oh,
I've
I
seen
haven't
it
seen
first.
the slums of this city yet, but in Kersh you have divisions of people, and you cannot even go to that part of the town if you're not wealthy enough. Let's even say buy something there or have a house there. And it looks here you can live what you can afford.
I think that if we want something to change, we would actually be more would be more beneficial to us to try and change how Natasha rules instead of trying to overthrow her.
I probably need to get my blood sugar up, and unfortunately, Alfonso does not know what the French Revolution is. So be right back. I mean, he knows something very similar. He just doesn't know exactly what the French Revolution is, because that would be like the Trump arguments.
Yeah, you wouldn't be there. There
would
hasn't
beat
been
all
any.
the
There
other
hasn't been any
arguments.
major like in your life. There hasn't been any major overthrows. The closest would be Hollock or Morkosh fighting in the wars that finished conquering convert or Faelun and Gosan.
There were a few in the slums in Alfonso's day, the last of which kicked him out.
Right.
They tried to kill him, but it's like it's very hard to convey the experience to everyone else.
Right.
Did you learn anything else when you were in there? Like, was there any chance of finding some documents of pawns inside Kersh?
Well, we're in a house with a dragon. I was not sneaking around there, as he clearly has my eyes on it.
I kept my eyes open for that spear we're supposed to be looking for, and I did not see any sign of it.
And we learned that Enya has a mother.
We also learned that she's naive.
But she speaks the truth, in my eyes, what she's planning to do. And I don't disagree with the plan.
The
I
question
don't
is
disagree
what
with the
does she
results.
gain from this whole action. Because I don't believe her reason she does it because she can. She has to be motivated somehow.
I believe maybe her motives. I don't believe her actions. And in her motives, she says she does it because she can. Every dictator starts out because they can. That's the point.
Yeah, but what if Natasha and Anya were just talking about change, and Natasha attacked Anya, and that's why Natasha fell down? You don't know the real story of Natasha's either.
We are missing a lot of pieces to this puzzle.
There's also obviously the political angle. I mean, if Kersh is separate from the rest of the area, then Diane, Anya, whatever, her takeover of Kersh, it could be so that she could then whatever apply for annexation. I don't know how the term is here in this era, and in that case, there might be a connection between Anya and who's ever ruling from Kartuk.
In a port city as well. I think Natasha intended for us to die by this point. She has a daughter that could fight Anya just fine. Why did Natasha get hit in the first place? And why did she send only us?
Because we proved to her that we were resourceful and could think outside the box.
And we're cheap.
Yeah, and most of our agents that she could have used when she really needed it were dead or gone.
Like I said, she expected us to be dead by now.
And we don't really know if we are the only group working for her.
Oh, I have no problem being dead. You know, I can take on a false identity and continue living. And work for Anya.
The problem is how good can Anya protect us? She is not very successful now.
More to the point, once Anya takes over Kersh, and just imagine the worst that could happen. Once hundreds of thousands of people die, can we have that on our consciousness?
We're not talking about war.
Can we stand it? I'm not talking about war either. I'm talking about civic cleansing.
No. She's gonna change over hundreds of years, slowly gonna change the city. So probably she's gonna take out the leading and that's it. And then try to influence with money to buy over the humans.
If she's going to change the city over hundreds of years, then won't the city over hundreds of years change her?
I don't think you can change a dragon that's in that kind of period.
I don't know either way. I would need to look at Natasha before she became what she
I know
was.
they're old. So
And if this change happens a long time, why does she need all the men and weapons and equipment?
Yes, if there isn't going to
take
be
down
more.
Natasha in probably a small altercation, and she would probably think she would need either her guards to fight the town guards while she deals with Natasha, or she would want more people to help with Natasha because Natasha might be more powerful than she is.
Are you guards sworn to the city or sworn to Natasha?
The city.
or sworn to people.
Specifically,
Then
specifically, the guards would be sworn towards their leaders and the city.
Then why does Natasha need so many green cloaks? Why does Anya need so many green cloaks? Natasha isn't your boss. She's your boss's boss, which means that Anya can fit that role equally as well. So why does she need an army if there isn't going to be a war?
Also, if we decide to decline the offer, are we going to immediately leave Convergence here, or are we going to try to become unseen and unknown here in town?
I would leave.
Which is why I asked, did it seem like there could have been any documents worth risking another attempt on the house for?
One point I just remembered, she reacted very strangely when we told her about trolls.
Probably because she didn't knew about them. And it's not her doing.
Why wouldn't she know about them?
Because they infested the farm after she left.
Could I have an Arcana check from Alfonso and Athena, please? Okay, continue on.
It's
And
a
we don't.
city. It's a city-state. It's a coast. It's a trading port, and it's surrounded by a huge emperor. It's going to fall eventually, but on what terms? And if we're part of it, and if theoretically lots of people get killed, can we live with that?
To be honest, I like what's happening right now. I got a shop. I'm doing well. Who knows what will happen with that when if Anya ever takes over?
Well, I mean, two
also,
dragons.
The trolls. I don't think she knew about them because I think the trolls actually were attracted to the teleportation circle. That being active would attract the troll when it maybe the last few people through saw it and panicked and shut it down, so the trolls couldn't follow. I don't know.
We've been contacted by two dragons, each of which wants to determine the fate of a large city. I think it's time that we need to stop worrying about our jobs.
I only got one job.
While I agree with the fact that there are greater things afoot, my first sentiment still stands. I was hired by Natasha. We all were.
From my gut feeling, Natasha is way more powerful than Anya.
Anya has a mother.
Where is said mother?
We could make an arrangement for a meeting. Could ask.
Also, Natasha has two daughters.
Why does Anya need her green cloak, brass and green, whatever dressed bodyguards here in Convergence?
And they're all people from Kersh.
Why does she need her
I
army?
will mention, you guys are all familiar with Kersh. Bodyguards of the wealthier class is fairly common in Kersh. You haven't seen any similarly grouped people here in Convergence. The only, other than the city guard, the only group of similarly dressed people is Anya's troops, or Anya's people, basically.
And what's the ratio that we have seen? Like, is it equal or?
Guards to Anya's group.
Compared to the guards of the city?
City guards to bodyguards.
City guards to bodyguards. There were a lot of guards out and about. A lot of city guards out and about yesterday. So, and you guys really haven't left the inn today, but give me an intelligence roll, everybody. Actually, I want to see what you guys noticed or know. Athena and Morkosh. You especially, I think especially Morkosh. Yesterday with the opening of the lightning rail, this would have been an all hands on deck. Every guard works the day shift, even if they wouldn't normally be working the day shift, sort of thing. And so there were not quite as many of the green and brass as that, but just kind of how you know how Kersh's guards are run. Probably more. You probably saw more of Anya's people in total than would be on a normal shift for the guard in the city.
I'll mention my conclusions with the rest of the group.
Anya was able to score a hit on Natasha. And from Natasha's reaction, I think this is the first time that's ever happened.
Yeah, but it could be a lucky attack or maybe an ambush attack.
Or she is in possession of this magical spear that gave her great power.
Yeah.
And Natasha is dying to have that spear.
I don't suppose we'll be able to play them off each other.
They are, in fact, playing off each other already. We're just caught in the middle.
Yeah, but if we go back to Natasha, like right now, are we just going to be killed?
I don't think so. But who knows?
I mean, knowing Natasha, do you...
Are you suggesting that we become some kind of double agents? Go ahead and agree to Anya, and then secretly in our own minds, we're still working for Natasha or something?
If that were possible, that's what I would go.
I'm not that good an actor. I mean,
Nor
And
am
I won't discuss those matters in a pub.
Yeah, neither will I. And out of character, even if Alfonso's a good enough actor to get away with that, it would be sort of, he'd become Worm Tongue, which I'm not interested in playing. Nobody wants to play Grima Wormtongue as their character.
As you guys are winding down your conversation, still deciding between which actions to take, you feel a deep rumble through the streets and the crash of an explosion. Like you feel the ground rumble beneath your feet, and then you hear an explosion in the distance, and we will end it there for this week.
have we experienced something like this before?
Well, now we get to see what happens next. And my vote, I'm...
Go ahead and deafen that. Thank you, everybody, for listening. I will be, again, playing this next week. If you are listening to this on YouTube, I hope you had an enjoyable session. I will pick this up again next Saturday. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Bye.